Oh yeah.
We're okay. We're never that hot in Vancouver. It's never that hot.
No,
No?
never that.
It's 26 degrees is when we get like the highest probably.
Yeah, I'm sitting with my feet in a bucket of ice cold water to keep
Are you
cool.
serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, Vancouver never gets that hot. Does it?
No, I think we've gotten up to like 33 at the max, but usually it's in the 20s.
Like 20 years
Pretty
ago.
good, pretty mild.
Yeah. Even in the evening, like we always have to wear a sweater or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. We do.
But today is a beautiful day outside.
In Canada, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Seattle is pretty cold. I mean, hot, and Toronto back east is hot. But
Yeah, muggy. Yeah. Okay, are we good to go, Nynke?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can wait 1 or 2 more minutes for people to come in.
That sounds sounds great. Yeah. How about we wait 1 more minute?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Let us know where you're from on the chat line if you'd like. We'd love to know where our participants are from. I'm from Vancouver. Oh, NYC, Mexico City. Woo.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Ukraine, London, UK.
UK, yes. Vancouver too.
Vancouver, yes.
Fantastic.
Oh,
wow.
Chile. Wow, welcome. Oh, Vancouver, the Netherlands.
Oh, from too.
Vancouver,
Wow. Vancouver.
Hong Kong. Woo.
Wow, we're really international.
Africa.
Africa.
South
Yes.
Africa. Also from Vancouver, but living
South
in South
Africa.
Interesting.
I used to live in Johannesburg when I was 2. In South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have nice memories of it still? Or
I do. And we also used to live in the Mediterranean in Cyprus, and that was incredible as
Wow.
well. I just loved that, yeah. And
So
Ireland, and my dad was a geologist, so we got moved around the world, and yeah, it was good. Oh, Vancouver.
Oh my
Yes.
that's fantastic.
Cool. All right. Shall we get started?
Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. I will stop my share.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
All excited.
So thank you. I first want to say how humbled I am, so thankful that so many people are joining us from all around the world to learn about slow fashion and our webinar. If you have any questions as we go, put them in the Q&A little chat box on the bottom. That's where we're going to look at the end of the webinar. We'll take some questions and we'll go from there. So basically, my name is Elizabeth Cross, or Lizzie Cross, and I'm from Vancouver, and I own Moda Circular. It's a sustainable fashion consulting agency. And as you know today, our topic of the webinar is why slow fashion is so important to incorporate into your wardrobe. But before I get started, I want to just touch on some of the interesting things about the fashion industry, but also what slow fashion is. So everybody kind of has a baseline, right? Because a lot of people know that terminology, but what do you actually mean when you say slow fashion? So for me, some of the things about the fashion industry, I don't know if you're aware, you might be, but there's 100 billion garments made per year. That's a lot of clothing a year, and we're just turning it out like crazy. But from this, according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, that means there's 1 truckload a second that goes to a landfill. That's insane. Every second, there's a truckload of taking textile waste to the landfill, whether it's cutting or people's, they don't want their fashion any longer, and or brands that don't want the clothing any longer, they're making new things. And also this adds up to about 86,000 trucks a day or more. So when you think of fashion, there's so many other things. There's the amount of energy that it takes to create an item. There's the CO2. I don't know if you're aware that the fashion industry is they create 10% of the CO2 emissions in the world. And that's even more than the maritime shipping industry and the airline combined, according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So with that, I just want you to take for a second, look down what you're wearing. I know I'm wearing a green organic cotton shirt. Look down, does it have a pattern in your shirt? Do you see anything? I want you to realize that that material that you're wearing, whether it's a fiber made from an animal or from a farm, or a synthetic from oil, it's gone through so many different phases. It's gone from the farm, for example, fiber, I'll take a fiber, then goes to make yarn, then goes to make fabric, then has to go to like a wet processing facility where they'll dye it or do other processes to it. Then it goes to a cutter, a sewer, and a manufacturer that has to put all those pieces together, and then might even go to another type of factory for embellishments. So there's a lot of sort of areas that it must touch, and through that it goes through at least 20 to 25 people's hands or more. So during that time, there's carbon dioxide created from all the energy that's used. There's wastewater created. There's chemicals used. So there's a lot of waste that's created from the fashion industry is basically what I'm trying to tell you. So when it comes to slow fashion, it's basically a movement where you need, instead of fast fashion where they're churning out tons of fashion items, weekly, it's a slowdown. You need to be slow fashion is more of a mindfulness, and so consuming less, and also looking for timeless items and seasonless items. And our speakers are going to talk to you more about that. But basically, it's looking and supporting brands that are sustainable. And what I mean by that is environmentally sustainable, but also ethically, that they're paying their workers and treating them fairly. And so, when you look at a mall and there's a $5 t-shirt, there's no way that ethically and environmentally that company, did it properly. So when you're looking at slow fashion, it's making sure that ethically and environmentally things are created well, and yeah, so that's basically for slow fashion. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just introduce our wonderful panel of speakers today, and then we'll ask them some pointed questions in terms of how slow fashion, they deal with slow fashion in their business and what slow fashion means to them. So first off, I'm going to introduce Vaneesha on the bottom. Hi, Vaneesha.
Hey, how are you?
Vaneesha and Vani, hi. Vaneesha is the curator of Kapade, the most beautiful slow fashion store in Vancouver. And she's also a luxury jewelry designer. And so, Vaneesha, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Vaneesha. I have a fashion design background. I studied fashion at Parsons School of Design in New York. And after finishing my studies, I worked with many design houses, designing collection for them. And then in 2006, I moved to Netherlands, and that's where I created my own collection called Designs by Sonia. And that's where I incorporated everything, I would say, all natural materials, because that's something I was always since I finished my studies, I always used only natural materials. So basically that's what I do. And also for my own store, for Kapade, I buy from designers who only makes all the collection from sustainable fabrics, and they all have production in-house. Yeah, that's what
Okay, thank you, Vaneesha. And Sara, we'll go to you. Sara Abraham is a sustainable stylist out of London. So if you're looking to dress more sustainably and know what to do, what companies to go to, Sara is your girl. So Sara, could you just tell us give us an introduction about you and maybe your education and that kind of thing?
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And let me say that I'm really happy to be here with you. from London, actually. As Elizabeth said, I'm Sara Ibrahim. I'm a personal stylist and fashion consultant, and I'm originally from Italy. I moved to London 4 years ago, and I got my qualification as a stylist at the London School of Styling. And I'm really into sustainability, actually. It's my world. It became, my world, and I try to find a connection with my styling world as well. And I got my qualification at the Center for Sustainable Fashion here in London. So my clients actually say that my style is quite unique, and I think that it comes from all of these moving and roots, but I think that this is what styling about, especially at the moment. We need to find something unique, something that is just us, and which is more than feeling stylish or trendy, because if you try to find something that is really you will keep it for long
Exactly.
time.
That's
That's
so
sustainable, actually.
yes, yes. Okay. Thanks, Sarah. And now we'll go to Nynke. She is the owner of the most amazing sustainability club in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And if you are wanting to create a new design of a bathing suit and have no idea where to start, she's your person. So Nynke, maybe can you just tell us a little about what you do and your educational background?
Hi, yeah, I can. Thank you for introducing me. So yeah, I'm Nynke, and I'm based out of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I am the founder of the Sustainability Club, which is a platform for sustainable fashion services. At the Sustainability Club, we develop sustainable products for fashion brands that care. Meaning that we look at every aspect of production, from the beginning of the design to final production. And our services include sourcing for sustainable materials, responsible manufacturing partners. We have a fabric library, and we also offer design and product development services, and as well as consulting on sustainability and CSR. And my personal background is actually as a fashion designer, and I've evolved over the years into product development and finally into CSR. And now in the Sustainability Club, I combine all of those together.
Yeah, that's wonderful, because you have a background in CSR and fashion, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm Lizzie Cross, and I am the owner of Mona Circular. And my background, I have a master's in bioresource engineering. So my master's was in wastewater treatment, specifically in the area of human waste. And I also have sustainable business strategy from Harvard, and I've taken the sustainable fashion from the London School of Fashion. So, one of the questions, sorry, that just came up, and I'll just answer it now, but I'll wait for the others that at the end. But it came up, and Nynke had mentioned CSR, and that they're wondering what that means, and it's corporate social responsibility. So it's a lot of larger corporations use the term CSR to talk about sustainability. So thank you for that question. Okay, so now the next question I have for you is, I've sort of given you my idea of what slow fashion means to me, but I would love to hear from each of you, because I come from more of an environmental focused background. I want to hear what you guys really think slow fashion really means to you. And maybe let's start with Nynke for this question.
Sure, yeah. Well, slow fashion is very important to me, and also for my company. And for me, slow fashion is really conscious fashion. So it's fashion that is not created just for the purpose of a profit, but that is created to benefit both its wearer and also its maker. And that is made with consideration for the environment. So slow fashion is, for me, about rethinking the way that we produce and the way that we consume. And yeah, as I said, it's very important for me. And I think the only way to move forward in a sustainable way in fashion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's the way that the future must go, for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe Sarah, let's go to you in terms of your actual sort of basic definition of what slow fashion is, just for our viewers.
Well, for me, it's a kind of priority at the moment. And I think that we have been actually procrastinate too much, but now we can't really escape. I mean, something that it's here and we have to face it. And it's the right way of dealing with fashion for me. And as a stylist, I'm in between the designer, the consumers, right? So I'm like a bridge, a kind of bridge between them. So I try to, it's based on empowerment, it's based on education, and it's based on items that are really focused on quality and longevity, I would say.
Right, exactly. Okay, thank you, Sarah. That's perfect. And Vaneesha, let's go to you. What does slow fashion mean to you?
For me, slow fashion is overall changing every way. I mean, from your
Every day?
lifestyle,
Yeah, or
from your lifestyle to the way you live, what you eat, your environment, how you treat people, you know, and also coming up with timeless pieces and sustainable. Um, to me, it's just a way of living. And, you know, just stop and think and become more focused and mindful.
right,
Um,
mindful before you buy something.
Yeah, to
What's
buy
it made out of? What's
whatever, each and every aspect of your life, basically. For me, that's what slow fashion is. You know, quantity versus quality. You know, it's consumption, right? Not to overconsume. Just be
right,
mindful. That's it.
right, exactly. Thank you for that, Vaneesha. Now, Sarah, what? How do you deal with slow fashion in your business?
Okay, so my business as a stylist, I mean, styling is a process, right? It could be a short term, medium term, or slow or long term process according to my clients' needs and priorities as well. So I see slow fashion and sustainable fashion as a process as well. So I try to find a link, you know, between the styling session and process and slow fashion. As every process needs time, because when we talk about sustainable fashion, this means that we talk about a cultural movement, a social movement, economical and political movement. So we can't actually think that it's going to change, you know, like that. It's a kind of mindset. So I try to give my clients concrete examples, because from time to time they come to me and say, yes, Sarah, this is fair, blah, but it's a lot of blah, blah, blah. So I've noticed that they really need, if I want to empower and educate them, I really need to give them concrete examples in terms of faces, designers, places,
Right,
concept stores, you know, where they can go and meet designers and talk to them and empower themselves as well. So it's, as I said, concrete examples, links, website, articles, podcast. I mean,
so,
places where you can
so
learn.
basically, you're educating the people that are
Yeah,
coming to you about
it,
the
yeah,
brand to go for and why it's important. Okay, that's great.
that's it, the
Yeah.
main, I mean, the key word.
And Vaneesha, when it comes to slow fashion in your business, you said you were dealing with you deal with sustainable designers and slow fashion designers. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you implement that into your business?
How do I implement? Well, you know, first of all, you have to come up with, you know, what your whole concept
Exactly.
is, right? And strategy, right? Then you want to make sure all the designers, for me, it's really important that they have their own in-house production. They buy fabrics which are also locally, or they source it out, and also work from nature. The nature has given us so many gifts, right? Why not utilize that? So for me, that's really important. How well they pay the people they're working with. And you know, I work with designers who actually have their own in-house weavers, so they use all the yarn.
Right.
So yeah, basically for me it is really working with all the people who have the same similar mindset.
Right, exactly. So the designers you choose, you specifically know how they're, if they're paying their employees fairly, their fabric that they're using is sustainable, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. And I've worked with the overseas too, right? I work with Africa myself, and I
yeah.
work with artisans who are
Right.
really, they know what they're doing. So I
Yeah.
don't, and everyone is paid really well. That's another thing, to be mindful of not exploiting people and exploiting the nature, because, you know, we have to really, you know, this is why I said, you have to be mindful of not exploiting yourself first and foremost by, you know, what you eat is all the choices basically we make, right? That's what matters, because choices have consequences.
Yes, exactly.
So this is
Okay.
exactly why I choose my designers according to my own value system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And your store, we're going to see soon a little sort of tour of Vaneesha's store. It's just fabulous. Now, Nynke, how do you embed slow fashion into the work that you do with your clients?
Yeah, so my business is really centered around sustainable fashion, of course. So therefore, working according to a slow fashion principle is also at the core of everything that I do. And to start, the products that I design are not meant to be trendy. They are usually meant to last long. So they are designed for longevity and for timelessness. And most of the clients that I work with actually also have that aim. They want to develop a product that goes beyond just the one season, but make things that are meant to last. And I encourage user-centered design in that approach. So looking at what does the customer actually need and how will the customer use your product for the longest possible amount of time. And it reflects also in the materials that I choose. So are they of high quality? Can they last? Do they serve the purpose of the product? So that's also a big part of it. And then what is actually a challenge sometimes for slow fashion brands is that they don't want to overproduce. They want to place smaller orders at their suppliers to prevent overstock and to prevent being left with stock, that they can sell. So this is also what I think ties in with the value of slow fashion, because this means that they are also not able to get the low prices as the fast fashion brands can, for example, because they place orders of thousands of pieces. So that's also one of the things that I look at and that I incorporate, that we place smaller orders and make sure that the products can actually get sold.
Right, exactly. Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you, Nynke. So for us, for Moda Circular, the company that I founded, we sort of look at the brand holistically when it comes to slow fashion. We look at things such as governance. How is the company governed? We look at the environmental considerations, all the social and ethical considerations, circularity and transparency. And in terms of circularity, is there potential for take back programs for the brand? A lot of the brands don't know where to even incorporate sustainability, and so that's for us. We go in and we help brands incorporate sustainability in all facets of their business, not just one. So that's sort of how we help to incorporate slow fashion into a brand's strategy. So the next question I have specifically is for Sara. Sara, can you sort of run through from a fashion stylist perspective, what you include when you look at somebody's wardrobe? So if I was going to come to you and say, hey, this is my wardrobe, it's got polyester, and what do I do? Should I throw everything out? Should I not? Should I keep everything? What would you recommend?
Okay, so I think I see every wardrobe, and I always, say to my clients that any wardrobe is a kind of treasure. So don't throw everything.
Yeah.
That is not. I mean, maybe we can actually donate, we can resell. I mean, there's a lot, instead of just get rid of stuff that you are not wearing or you're not happy with, right?
Exactly.
It's a treasure in terms of money, in terms of, there's a lot in there. So during my virtual session or face-to-face session, and at the moment, especially virtual because of the situation actually we are living in, I try to start from what we have here now. So you have to be aware of your body shape, for example. not so many people are really, they really know, you know, their body shapes in terms of proportions, for example, upper part and bottom part, you know. And as I usually say to my clients, actually fashion is based on three main points: proportions, illusion, and colors. Once you know them and you are aware, of course you can play and you can have fun, right? So it's, let's start re-merchandising your wardrobe first, and then keep maybe buying new stuff. And of course I can give them, you know, advices in terms of brands that are more sustainable, in terms of fabrics that are more sustainable, as you mentioned, for example, polyesters, viscose, or natural fabrics as well. I always try to underline, you know, the beauty of natural fabrics if we can. But the thing is, starting from inside, from what you have here in terms of your needs, your body shape, your priorities, and what you have here in your wardrobe, try to look at your wardrobe in a different way. Try to, as you said, seasonless pieces, timeless pieces, playing, you know, with colors, and try to then actually go shopping. So it's from inside to outside. It's a kind of circle, you know, from inside to outside. So this is what I usually do during my styling session. Again, empowering and educating my clients just to look at their wardrobe in a different way.
Right, because there's all these things, and I know I've heard Vaneesha talk about this, is that you can add, you know, you can keep whatever you have, but maybe add one or two newer, more sustainable pieces.
Exactly.
And that's okay. We're not saying not to buy new stuff, but just be mindful of it. And
Yeah. The thing is, try to focus on quality instead of quantity. Try to focus on investment pieces, right? There are those steps, I mean, those kind of key pieces every woman, every person should be. I try to invest, you know, in those pieces instead of keep buying. Like,
and would you ever recommend to your clients, like, going to, you know, buying vintage or secondhand stores where you can suggest brands to buy?
Yeah, vintage. Look at my earrings. They come from my mom's. Thanks God. Thanks, Mom.
Let's see those close up. Are they look like little shells or acrylic?
Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah.
Like a mint, one of those mints.
It's exactly from 80s, directly, you know, from 80s. I always recommend my clients, I mean, vintage is a really, really good way of being trendy, cool.
Exactly, right. And it's your own style.
Exactly. And you can remake them, you can change your clothing, because from time to time, people think that being more sustainable or buying more sustainable items, this means that I'm going to lose my be trendy or cool. It's not true. I mean, you can be trendy and be sustainable, and the other way around as well.
You know what? I think, you know, of all the things, you have to be comfortable in yourself.
Exactly.
Really. Whatever you wear, just be confident, own it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing called, oh, this is going to go out of fashion or that's going to go out of fashion. So if you feel you have some pieces which are even in polyester, keep it. It's sustainable.
Well, and Vaneesha, that's funny.
Keep it.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I know there's a client that I was talking to recently, and she uses, you know, polyester surpluses to make these really funky pants, and that's great. You know, I mean, it's just wonderful. So that's still, polyester is not the, you know, the most environmentally friendly fabric. However, if you're reusing it, and you know, exactly.
I mean, everything is possible when it comes from styling. I mean, I can tell you about my, you know, styling perspective, but you have to be aware and of what you are doing, actually. That's it.
Yeah. So the next question I have is for Vaneesha. Vaneesha, I was hoping you could sort of run us through how, when you're at a fashion show and you're choosing different brands to incorporate into your store, what do you talk to them about? How do you know they're not just greenwashing you and saying the right things? How do you really know? And then just to answer that question, answering that question, if you could give us just a quick 2-minute mini tour of your store and kind of examples of some slow fashion merchandise you keep.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, being a designer, I know other designers really well. So the people I buy from, I know them since years. So I know their practice, how they treat people. I know each and everything. So that's already sorted out for me as far as that's concerned. And then what I tend to do, just to make it more sustainable and really easy for people to shop in my store, what I do, I put together a color scheme, like what's going to be the colors. And then I make sure I buy from all the designers within those colors. So therefore they can mix and match. For example, I have Elementum, I have Ablesia, I have NRK. So they can actually take the piece from Elementum and they're able to mix up with Ablesia.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I tend to do, so that, you know, it's really easy. None of the pieces just individual, but they can mix and match everything within the store. So one like NRK is a little bit more avant-garde and you know, contemporary, and then you have pieces from Elementum, which are, you know, zero waste, and also,
which I'm wearing right now, the zero waste shirt.
Right? It's multifunctional. So you can take the piece from NRK and mix it together with Elementum or Ablesia or anything. So that's another thing I really focus on doing that. This is exactly what people should be doing with their wardrobe. They should just mix and match. Really.
Now, Vaneesha, how does color play into this? Like, do you have any bright, crazy patterns, or do you just go with those basics, solids, or
no,
what's your preference?
Well, my preference, prints for some reason has never been my preference. But that's my own personal, doesn't mean that somebody else will not like it, right? But that's my own. So I tend to go for natural materials and plaids and yarns and linens. So I focus on fabrics, for me, textiles, the shapes, the avant-garde shapes, contemporary shape. That matters a lot. And as far as the shape of a woman is concerned, the way I buy it, everyone can fit into it.
Right.
And it's
so is a lot of the stuff that you have a lot of one size items, or small, medium, large, that kind of thing?
I have both. I have one size and I have small, medium, large.
Yeah.
But I
Vaneesha, can you give us a quick, beautiful tour of your store? We'll make sure your camera is up. And just tell us about some of the pieces, that you're going to show us.
You know, so can you see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
So that's Designs by Sonia collection. So I have the whole black and white group, and that
goes with everything.
ASA. This is also Indian Khadi, hand spun, hand woven, and this is NRK. So you could see NRK is a little bit more avant-garde, and of course the jewelry is all Designs by Sonia. This is aluminium, and then I get my bags, handmade bags from Netherlands. It's called from Mozart. It's really an old, amazing company, and this piece is from Indian designer called Crow, and hand spun, hand woven, and I have underneath this Elementum multifunctional dress. Of course, with my jewelry, again, you can see the colors. You can see.
So you do nice pops of color on the.
Exactly. Yes, but they are just enough, not too much, but they're just enough. So it's the same thing. This is hand spun, hand woven. Underneath you have NRK, and on top you have Crow. So it's the same thing. And jewelry also plays a big part in my collection. Again, hand spun, hand woven.
Beautiful.
So this is a multifunctional top from Elementum, which you are wearing today.
Yeah.
So this is again hand spun, hand woven from Crow. NRK, you can see all these printed pants.
And Vaneesha, can you show the viewers your where you do make your jewelry?
Oh yeah, so this is a bit of a mess because I was working away yesterday.
So this is where I met Vaneesha. I came into her store and I saw her making necklaces. It was awesome.
So these are all the pieces. Again, handbags from Mozart. These are all my pieces, so for me, shapes do matter. So my pieces are all statement pieces. The jewelry, again, this is from NRK, which is also avant-garde and contemporary pieces. So this is a tutu, my store. And these are beads, which I had them made. So I don't buy anything from the market. I actually have
the beads that you use to get made, the glass beads are from used bottles. Is that correct?
They are recycled glass. Yes.
Recycled glass. Okay.
Yes, definitely. So you can see these are multifunctional dresses from Elementum all over. So yeah, that's the tour to my store. Is it all right?
That's beautiful. Yeah, yeah, that's gorgeous. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that.
All right.
And is there any last things that you want to tell us about your store before we move on, other than how wonderful your clothing is?
No, not well. It's really personal to me. Especially, I would like to talk about my display because I had them made from the local cross person and the wood cross person. And the way I made the display, I wanted to make sure that it's really visible to the eye. The way I merchandise it, so people can actually, they're able to see the whole garment and how they can put it together. So for me, that was important. And also what was important, that it was personal to me.
Right.
I designed the whole layout, and that to me is really, really, and working, yeah, that's really personal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Vaneesha. That's awesome. I know me and my sister went into your store, and we left like 2.5 hours later. She took complete care of us there, so it's amazing. So now we're going to just talk to Nynke. Nynke, can you run us through how you deal with your clients when it comes to slow fashion and sustainable products, and maybe run us through, like, give us the basics of, if I came to you and said, oh, I want to create a bag, or I know that you've created some purses with your sister, maybe just run us through a process that you might have, like, just generally.
Yeah, sure. I can actually give you the example of how we developed the vegan range of bags. So every process, I always start with the design, and I often work with entrepreneurs who are not per se trained as designers, but who have a lot of great ideas and that they want to get into a design. So I sit down with them and I discuss all the little details of their design. And in that process, I already look at their sustainability goals. So what is the goal that they want to achieve? Do they want their products to be a slow fashion product that lasts for a very long time and that is seasonless? Or do they want, for example, their products to be designed to be recyclable? All these different things to consider require different choices to make in materials and in accessories and all the small details. So that's where I always start. And for example, with the vegan bag collection that I designed together with my sister, her aim was really to create durable and timeless bags and show that a beautiful luxury bag does not need to be made out of leather. So we were really looking at quality, at material, at timeless, but also high-end design.
And you said it was made out of apple waste. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. We because we wanted it to be vegan, but we wanted it to be non-plastic favorably. So I really had a big research about which new vegan materials are now on the market, and there's a lot of different new developments happening. And at the time that we were developing it, the apple leather really came out on top as a sustainable option. And I actually recently published an article about all the different vegan leather materials and about the difference in their impact. So that's on my website now if anybody is interested. But after the design and development process, I look for the right manufacturer, and I try to find a manufacturer that is responsible. So slow fashion really means looking at every aspect of the product and of the production. And it's also about making sure that the entire supply chain is as sustainable as possible. So that the production doesn't only create benefit for the wearer, but also for the maker, as I already said before. So I always check that the working conditions are good. I do this social compliance assessment when I'm at a factory And I also do a health and safety check to make sure that what I see around me is according to European standards, because I source in Europe mostly. I make sure that the standards are met and that the working conditions are good. And another thing that is important in that process is that you work on building a good relationship with your supplier, because in that way you can build trust, and then you know that what they're saying is also what they're actually doing.
Right.
And to develop sustainable and slow fashion products, I think that's a very important part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I think it's so critical to be able to have people like you that understand, first of all, if I came to you and said, oh, I want to make a bathing suit out of something crazy, you at least would be able to say, look, you can't really get that stretch out of that, you can't cut it properly, or
Exactly.
but you'd also understand what is feasible with any kind of product. If I want to make a bag, can I make it out of seaweed? Right? You'd be able to say,
Exactly. Yeah, and
right?
also if for example you want to make something to be recyclable, then I can also say, okay, then you need to design it in a completely different way, so that it's easy to take all the different parts
Right.
apart. Yeah.
Well, that's where the circular fashion all comes in, is where prior to even designing anything, you've got to think about how you take it apart, how you put it back together. And I think, that's the way the future, for me, I think, is that's the way the future of the fashion industry is going to go. There's going to be take back programs where they make different shirts into hats or something like that,
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah.
So for us at Moda Circular, we do a lot of things, like I'll give you, like, there's these assessments that we go through with clients, and basically what it is we cover governance, environmental issues, like I said, social aspects, circularity, like Nynke was talking about, and transparency of brands. And a lot of brands don't have a clue where to start, and so for us, we look at sort of the holistic package. Like a lot of people go, oh yeah, we're a sustainable company, but then you ask, okay, have you had any kind of formal training in sustainability? And they're like, no. Well, like, these are just some basics. You need to really understand, what sustainability actually means, and that everybody in the company, including all the CEOs and the executives, get proper training to really understand what it means to the company. So for us, sort of, that's how we, when we deal with sustainability, that's how we look at it. And a lot of times we'll have brands that haven't even really thought about certain things. And our assessments that we do for brands are based on like the Fashion Revolution's Transparency Index and different auditing programs. And we sort of combined it as our own sort of tailored assessment for companies. So now I just want to ask one of the final questions before we get to the questions that our viewers have, because I see there's quite a few of them. Now, when we talk about, there's going to be women, men that have families, have 3 or 4 kids, and they can't afford really expensive items. Like, they can't afford a $30 shirt even for their child. They choose the fast fashion items because it's $5. How do we educate people that the importance of not choosing the really cheap item? So maybe we'll start with Nynke.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, what I always say is that sustainable products are not too expensive. The fast fashion products or conventional products are too cheap. And the reason being is that buying prices for fast fashion are being negotiated to be so low that the manufacturers really have to cut costs at every corner. So they have to cut costs in the wages that they pay their workers. They have to they might not be able to install a wastewater filter, for example, because they don't have any extra margin left. So the price is really being paid somewhere, even though you're not paying it, then it's being paid either by the people that are making your clothes or by the environment, because it has a lot of more impact than if all the protocols are being followed. So yeah, I would really have to say that fast fashion is too cheap, and we've just gotten used to those prices. Yeah, and we really need that perception to change, and we need to invest in brands that are doing it right, because there are so many brands, especially smaller brands, that are really putting so much effort into making sure that every little step is done responsibly. So
Right, and then people are getting a fair wage when they're creating the garment, right?
exactly,
Down the chain,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that it's important to invest in that, because you're investing into a better world eventually in the end. So if you always keep that in mind, then that's already a big added value, I would say, that you get with your purchase. And if you don't have the budget for the brands that are slow and that might be a little bit more expensive, then I would always suggest to buy secondhand, because there are so many garments already in circulation that are just either laying in somebody's closet or are in an online marketplace already, that you can just buy for a very low price. So that's already a very sustainable and slow option, because you're really prolongating the life of
The life of the garment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We just want to keep it in play and in circulation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And buy less.
And,
Buy less.
and Vaneesha, go ahead. Tell us what you think.
Well, I think you should just buy less, really. You don't have to consume, right? And also, if people have kids, they can always pass it on from one child to other. They don't have to, because, kids are always growing, right? Yeah, and just like Nynke said, just go and get them from the secondhand clothing store, and they have such amazing stuff, really. Yeah, for me, it's just consume less, and that's it. Because, like I said before, just be mindful of everything you're doing. That's it. Nynke said what I wanted to say. So
okay, good. And how about we go to Sara? So, how would you educate somebody on not buying the $5 T-shirt and why it's so important?
Actually, as the girls said, it's just let them understand better and educate, as we said, better about the reason behind the $5 and the reason behind the $20 or £20, whatever, right? So as Vaneesha said, buy less. That's why I try to focus my styling sessions on re-merchandise, what we have in store. I mean,
right. Exactly.
store, which is your wardrobe, right? Because as I said, so many times I found stuff that my clients wanted to buy in their wardrobe, but they forgot it because there was so much stuff. So detoxing, this kind of detoxing, decluttering, the wardrobe. Try to reorganize the wardrobe. Try to find a way of keeping, your outfits ready. Like that, you have everything. You have a bigger picture, in front of you, and you can actually see if you really need something more. And if you really need something more, as the girls have mentioned, I mean, we have a lot of different options: secondhand, vintage. You can make something yourself, tailor, alteration. I mean, secondhand, again, designer stuff. You can resell, you can buy your designer stuff, for example. And again, it's timeless pieces, what you really need, focusing on what you really need in your life here and now. And if you ask that question, of course you can find a solution. You can find the pieces you really need and buy.
And you know what? You don't have to look like everybody else, right?
Again, sorry, Vaneesha?
You don't have to look like everybody else. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Have your own identity, have your own style. Just be it. That's it.
Exactly. It was the unique, way my clients, try to, as a yes, Sara, your unique way. But everybody can, it's not because I'm a stylist. It's not,
don't
but
follow the trend. It's not about trendy. That's the best part about slow fashion, is that they're timeless pieces. You can just have them and wear them again and again. And even like your old pieces, right? Just mix them together with your new pieces. Just, have fun with it.
Absolutely.
Really. And at the end of the day, fashion shouldn't be taken seriously, right?
No, it's fun. Of course it's fun.
And it's fun. You can really...
Yeah, it should be like that.
Now, one thing I'll add to that is, I know for me, if I go shopping or whatever, I always ask myself, I'm going to wear this 30 times. Am I going to wear it 60 times? If it's just something for a party, or I'm like, you have to put it back. It's just a waste, right? So I know for me, whenever my kids wanted to buy some crazy toy that was a lot of money, I'd say, okay, think about it. But if and if it was their own money, we'll come back in a couple days. If you're still in your mind, then buy it. But the thing is also, when it comes to sustainability and companies, it's not, some companies will charge a lot and not be that sustainable. So what you have to do is also do your own research. Look on their website. Are they talking about where they get their fabrics from? Are they saying they pay fair wages? Are they transparent about where their manufacturing is? Do they, and also not only on the website, but on Instagram, does it sort of go over, does it show that they have their core values in sustainability? And if they're not telling people about it, I would assume they're not doing it, right? I know there's lots of brands out there that do say that they're sustainable, but when you dig a little bit deeper, they're actually not. So I think before you do spend some extra money on sustainable new garments, do some homework. And Nynke, do you know if there's like I know for me, we're creating a sustainability guide for small businesses, and in there's going to be a resource section of different sustainable companies that we're going to be listing. So we're working on that right now, but I think there is quite a few directories out there now that do list sustainable companies.
Yeah. There is, for example, the one really big one, and that's Good on You. It's an app. So Good on You is an app that you can download, and that you can really look at the brands that you want to buy for. And then for many brands, they did research and they gave it a rating, for example. So
yeah. I'm just going to pull that app up because I think that's really important. You know, it's so funny because it was my daughter's birthday. My daughter's birthday is coming up, and my other daughter said, Mom, I looked on the Good on You app, which is this one in the corner. I don't know. You can see it. It's a little black thing. And when you press on it, you'll get something like that. And you can put in the name of your brand. And they're not, I mean, they've got a lot of brands. It's not every brand by all means. But they do go through the environmental conditions, social, like, and ethical, whether or not people get paid properly, as well as their animal rights. So my daughter was going to buy my other daughter some Birkenstocks for her birthday, which is a very expensive purchase for her. And she's like, Mom, Birkenstocks, they don't rate very well, you know. But what's really great about this app is that they give you other choices, right? So it'll give you, okay, well, there's the 3 other choices that have better ratings, right? And so,
actually, it's really, really good. I mean, it's kind of mandatory.
Here, us Good on You. That's a very, very good app.
It's mandatory for my clients. If you want to start a styling session, you have to download the Go on You app. Because it's really easy. And
no, it's definitely not easy. And knowing what to ask. And I think it's also important, even on Instagram, ask questions to them. If they want to talk to you in private and don't want to tell people publicly what they're doing, you got to wonder about that, right? So I know we've got a couple more minutes. Oh, sorry, Vaneesha.
Yeah, I was just going to say, also look out for independent designers, because independent designers, honestly speaking, they are really on top of sustainability and all, because they're able to control it. Because they're smaller, they produce smaller quantities.
So like Ablesia and Elementum.
Yes. Look out for really smaller independent designers, because they are really on top of their game. So yeah, that's definitely one of the suggestions I'll make.
So now I've got some questions in the Q&A that I'm going to look at, but there's also some chat things. Just give me 1 second here.
So have you seen actually?
One of the questions I see is, you guys don't see my screen, right? So why is slow fashion often not so colorful? Maybe who would like to answer that?
Actually, I can answer that. I mean,
okay, Sara.
styling perspective, I know brands that are really colorful and they are sustainable at the same time. There's this amazing brand, Bowden. They have this huge, amount of colors actually. So I think that at the beginning was easier just to focus on natural colors, because it was something like ready to wear for any kind of skin tones and easy. And especially because at the beginning, sustainable fashion was quite expensive. So it was based on getting timeless pieces. So that's why it was based on natural, I think, colors. But at the moment, it's not really like that. I mean, as I said, there are brands all over the world try to, just because they want to be really trendy. So they follow, the colors of the seasons as well.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Sara. Now, Vaneesha, I have a question for you that somebody had written in, and they said that they couldn't find a lot of XX small sizes in slow fashion. Can you explain that, or is that true?
And actually, she's to a certain extent, she's right about that. But at the same time, there are some collections I have. For example, whenever I get Crow, I bring in extra small, and they do somehow semi-fitted clothes too. But I guess, yeah, that's for sure what she said is true. There aren't too many designers. Well, that's probably because they want people to be able to fit into clothes. So
well, yeah, because if they
extra small or something like that, then you need that customer. And if you don't get that customer, but with unique sizes and certain sizes, people can fit into them easily. So that's their one of
now, Nynke, do you have anything to add in terms of the pattern making? In terms of, instead of making 8 different sizes or whatever, that people just choose to make one. Does it, in terms of the cutting, does that affect the waist?
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually say something about that, because if you, for example, if you're looking at zero waist design, then it's often not even possible to get a fitted garment, because all the lines will be more straight and not so curved to the body. So if a brand is designing for less waist, less cutting waist of the fabric, then usually the shapes get a little bit more loose fit to the body. And also, if you are placing only smaller orders at a manufacturer, then sometimes they don't even allow you to make a full size range. They say, okay, you can order a small amount of garments, but you can only do 3 sizes, for example. So then the brand will have to choose to make that size a little bit more fitting towards several body types.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know I'm wearing a shirt Elementum and my teenagers steal it from me, but I'll just stand up. So you can either open it up like that. So really it's one size, but you just tie it and it can fit any body shape, right? So I mean, I wonder if it's, if it's like having, different designers think about how they can make it fit everybody, right?
I'm actually going to just get one of the pictures of Elementum, and you will see that all those ones, well, she has different sizes, but they're multifunctional. So you can wear it a few different ways. So it's top, it's vest, it's, dress, it's all. I'll just bring it right now.
Okay.
Just to. So this is the zero waist, the one we're talking about. I don't know if you're able to see it.
Yeah.
It's multifunctional. So yeah. And then you can just wear it as a vest, as a dress, and as a top. So this one actually is quite fitted. So it depends on the material too. Like if it is jersey, then you can make it more fitted. So it depends, but when it comes down to shirts and all that, they tend to make them more straight. But having said that, I do have some of the collections, like for example, like I said, Crow, I bring in extra small from Crow, and that's really tiny. Everything about their collection is really small. So I bring in all extra small, small, medium, large. So it depends. But it's about, like Nynke said, that is the way the fabric is used, the consumption and all. Yeah, because of the zero. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We're going to take two more questions. Now, there's Isaac is asking to everyone, what's your opinion about animal skins, mainly bovine or goat leather? Animal skins must not be sustainability, or must be not. He must have meant not sustainable. Maybe I know, Nynke, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I can answer that. A lot of people don't really know whether leather can be sustainable or not. And I did a lot of research on that. And on the whole, I would have to say that leather is a less sustainable option than a vegan leather option, for example, because there are so many heavy chemicals used in the tanning process. There's a lot of high energy and high water use.
Metals, yeah.
Exactly. And it also plays a huge role in the deforestation of the Amazon, which we need to keep all the carbon out of the air. We need the trees. So it's not good if we chop down all of the trees. And there has been a study actually saying that vegan leather has only a third of the environmental impact as genuine leather. And as a final note, I would also say that most people think because leather is a natural material, it is biodegradable, so it will not end up on a landfill. But this is not true because it is tanned with all those heavy chemicals, it is not safe to be biodegraded. So actually it has to be burned as well.
Right. Now, somebody also came up with another comment just about vegetable dyes. Do you know in terms of if you dye leather with vegetable dyes?
Mine is.
Yeah, exactly.
All,
right. All your purses are all vegetable dyed purses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is the one way to make leather more sustainable. It will still have the impact of high energy and water use, and also the deforestation of the Amazon is still an issue. But if you use vegetable tanning, it's already a lot better, and it becomes biodegradable. So it's much better.
Okay. Okay. Great.
About the boutiques, she said how to find boutique who's selling sustainable clothes from designers. Actually, this is a really good one because I think it's really good to have a directory where all the people who are sustainable boutiques should just go and register there. I think that's a good one. I don't know about that. I would definitely be one of the ones who will register because I have everything sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when we're creating the sustainability guide, we're going to have resources.
Yeah, Galaxy. Yeah, I think we're going to be looking into it. Like I'll look for it.
I have to. One thing I'll say about that is that if you go onto Facebook, they have these amazing sustainable fashion groups, and if you there's lots of them out there, and if you join some of them, you can ask questions specific to, okay, where can I get organic cotton? Where can I get this? Where can I, who makes sustainable purses? And there's so many smaller companies that are on these Facebook groups. It's fantastic. So you can really find some really good companies out there that
and
doing it right.
You can find my store. I mean, definitely. Yeah, Kapade has everything sustainable.
Yeah, and Vaneesha's store is absolutely beautiful, and the way she's put all her choices of designers together, it's incredible. So one I would like to maybe let me see, what time is it? We should probably wrap this up. We don't want to keep people. There is a lot more questions, however, ladies, would you like one more question and then we'll do some final comments?
Yeah, actually, there was a question just for me in terms of animal print, if it's more sustainable or just styling. It's linked, the animal print. So look at me. I'm a really animal print girl today. I'm wearing this beautiful second-hand top, animal print top. So just to answer to these questions, I don't really think that animal print as any kind of print, it's stylish, yes, it's stylish at the moment, but it could be sustainable as well. Because if you go to a charity shop, for example, you buy a top like I've done in an animal print, you get a stylish item and you help, the sustainability way of wearing a stylish item. So instead of focusing on if the print is stylish or sustainable, try to find, I guess, as I reckon, the right way of finding, tops or whatever you want to find in a different place.
Yes, exactly.
Like charity shops, second hands, open air markets.
And there, I'm sure there is sustainable companies out there that do animal prints,
As
right?
well.
So it's just searching for those.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any further questions for us, you can reach us on Instagram and through our email. I'm sure it's all linked to Nynke, is that all linked to the Zoom or our?
Actually, I can put it up here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, I want to just close with saying, for me, sustainability is when you go out shopping and you really not sure about a brand, use the Good On You app. Go home, look at their website. Do they even have an area where they talk about sustainability, the manufacturers they use, the ethical practices that they use, and make your choices like that, and try to avoid just buying the fast fashion. So that would sort of be my last comments. And also choose more, if you can, go out and thrift and use more natural fibers if you can. And yeah, so secondhand really is a great way to go. So any last comments? Vaneesha, any last comments from you?
I think, every choice we make has consequences, right? So I think, just be mindful. I mean, you decide what you want to wear. In the end of the day, you're the wearer. For what you have and what you're going to be buying, you just have to decide yourself. That's the choice you make. I mean, we were there to talk about slow fashion and give out information. Nothing is perfect, yes. Yet, it's like work in progress. And even whatever you decide, it's going to be work in progress, because, we're all learning together in this. So yeah, it's all about the choices we make.
Right. Okay. Good. Thank you, Vaneesha. And Sara, some last comments?
Last comment is, as I said earlier, it's a process. It's going to take time, but I really think that it's the right time just to face this amazing way of dealing with fashion, which is being more sustainable, being more aware, and hugging, this slow fashion revolution.
Okay, thank you. And Nynke, your final comment about
Yes.
slow fashion.
Yeah, I would say that it's very important that you know that you can vote with your money. Look for brands that are openly sustainable and support them. Ask questions, where's something made? Use the hashtag from example, Fashion Revolution, who made my clothes? Be an active citizen and a conscious consumer, and educate yourself on sustainable fashion. And if you are interested to know more, you can also follow the Sustainability Club on Instagram, for example. We do our best to share interesting resources that give you an insight into sustainable and slow fashion.
Yeah, great. And I know Nynke has also put all our Instagram handles on is that the chat line?
Yes.
Did you put them on the chat line?
Yeah.
So you can go and take a look at all our Instagram handles, and in that it'll be either to LinkedIn, we'll have it, or our website, so you can ask us more questions. And we are happy to take any question. Seriously, we just want to sort of spread the word about slow fashion and sustainable fashion, and that's about it. But I really want to truly thank everybody from coming all around the world to listen to us. I really appreciate your time, and I'm just so happy and excited that you guys were here to join us. And I want to say thank you to Sara, thank you to Vaneesha,
thank you all.
Thank you to Nynke. You guys were absolutely amazing. And yeah, just thank you so much. And okay, and I guess that's a wrap. It's about 7 minutes after, so I'll talk to you girls soon. And thank you everybody from around the world. Mwah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.